Are you a woman of faith or open-minded seeker, wanting to make a difference, but find yourself asking, how can I heal my emotions and overcome the hurt, pain, and regrets of my past? How can I break free from the medical matrix and heal my mind and body holistically? How can I lose weight without losing my joy? How can I live in this world without being consumed by it? How can I have more of God's blessings, miracles, and protection over my life? If you resonate with any of these questions, you are in the right place, my sister. Welcome to the Sharing the Bliss podcast, where we help women of faith soothe their souls, heal their bodies, and live their bliss in a time like this. Join me, Coach Carmen Abercrombie, certified holistic health coach, author, speaker, and founder of Sharing the Bliss, and my co-host, Coach Denise Beecham, the Wellness Diva, on this weekly joyful transformational journey. Because regardless of your current circumstances, your breakthrough begins today. Welcome to the Sharing the Bliss podcast. I'm your host, Coach Carmen.
And I'm Coach Denise.
And this is episode number 9. As we continue the series, Detox Your Way to Health. Today we're going to be talking about how detoxing promotes a healthy microbiome.
Absolutely.
So, Coach Denise, why don't we start by talking about the benefits of having a healthy microbiome? We're talking about the gut today.
We're talking about the gut.
Yes.
So, with a healthy microbiome, you will have improved digestion and elimination. This is a big thing for a lot of people, right?
Totally.
A healthy gut facilitates efficient digestion and absorption of nutrients from food. It can also promote bowel regularity and reduce digestive systems such as bloating, gas, diarrhea, and abdominal discomfort. Now, we hear a lot about that from people who sign up to do the detox.
Totally.
That's one of the main things that they have an issue with, is usually gas, bloating, especially constipation.
Yes.
And things like that. We hear it all the time.
Yes, we do.
We hear it all the time. And now we know why.
Yes, absolutely. The good news is you can download the guide that we're reading from. I put it together as a free resource for this series. If you don't have a healthy microbiome, you are going to have issues with eliminating and issues with digesting.
And one of the main things we hear during the detox, from the participants in the detox, is that the elimination problem that they have is starting to go away. Like, they're starting to eliminate.
That is so
we hear
true.
it all the time, right?
Yep.
We hear it all the time. Oh, I noticed that, now I'm not having that problem. I'm not constipated anymore, and so on and so forth.
It's so exciting. It really is. And we're going to go into in more detail why that's so next week.
Right.
So make sure you come back, because we're going to really give you the suggestions of what you can do to heal your microbiome. But right now we want to be clear as to the benefits, because if you don't know the benefits, you don't think it's important enough to consider you taking care of your microbiome. You don't think that it's important enough for you to do a detox, to start to clean out your system here and balance the ecosystem that we have, that we're so blessed to really have.
Exactly.
It is a blessing to have God create all of these different bacteria to support us.
Exactly.
Yes, so one of the other benefits, I think is a big one, is that it helps to build your immune system when you have a healthy microbiome. Because most of our immune system is in our gut.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't think about that when they, consider, I don't want to get a cold, I don't want to get the flu this year, I don't want to catch COVID or whatever.
Yes.
They're not thinking about the fact that, well, first of all, it's not just you being around the wrong people. It's also about you eating the wrong food and feeding your bad bacteria. And so you're not giving your good bacteria enough strength and verdure to fight off any infection or any cold or flu or what have you.
Right.
So having a strong microbiome, a healthy one, is going to build up your immune system.
Absolutely.
And today, that's really important.
Oh, definitely today.
I paid the price for not paying a lot of attention to my microbiome, starting to step off the wellness bridge. And we have a bridge that we talk about that will keep you healthy. And if you go too far off that bridge, what's going to happen is what we're talking about. The bad bacteria is going to start to take over, and your immune system's going to be weakened, and you'll be a lot more susceptible to whatever's going on around you and catching things. Got that bad cold in December.
Yes.
And then I ended up with COVID last month, which was crazy and insane. And after 4 years of not having COVID, it finally got me. Yes, it did. And I like to say, Coach Denise, really and truly, that I'm kind of okay with that, because I know that it's going to give me more antibodies.
I guess that's what they mean by herd immunity.
Exactly.
Like everyone is, the more people who get it, the more people can be resistant to it.
Exactly.
Because they build up antibodies to it. But this also helps, what we're speaking of also helps with that, to
Totally.
keep your immune system functioning at optimum.
Yes.
That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. And then you're talking about people who have serious health issues.
Yes.
People who have serious health issues, the first thing they really need to do is detox. But the doctors don't tell you that. They don't tell you that you have to build up your good bacteria and have your microbiome strong and healthy. They just throw medicine at it. And if they were able to detox so that they can build up their gut flora, what a difference it would make. You think of so many illnesses, even mental illnesses, because we're going to talk about that too.
You can have an issue with your health, whatever it is, but you can still build a healthy immune system, because that's why they tell a lot of patients who have cancer or other issues, build your immune system, keep your immune system. They don't want you to catch colds.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
You can create a
functioning.
You can create
Yes.
one. And by creating one, you're going to find that whatever you're going through, it's going to get better.
I agree.
Because you are getting better.
Right.
From the inside out.
Right.
The problem I find, though, Coach Denise, is that they tell you have to build up your immune system, but they don't really tell you how.
No, not necessarily.
Just fruits and eat more fruits and vegetables.
Eat more fruits and vegetables.
Basically.
Get exercise. Get rest, and
don't
so
smoke cigarettes.
Don't smoke
don't
don't drink and things like that. And all of those are good, but they don't go deep enough to really build you up to where your immune system is so strong that you can be around a whole bunch of people and never catch anything.
Yes.
Right?
That is so true.
Okay, so let's move on. So it also promotes better mental health. The gut-brain axis allows communication between the gut and the brain, influencing mood and cognitive function. A healthy gut microbiome is associated with reduced risk of anxiety, depression, and other mental health disorders. Did we not just discuss this not that long ago about how sometimes the food you eat can affect your mood? So if you're eating a bunch of, say, fried foods or processed foods, or you go to McDonald's and all those other fast food restaurants, and then you're back at work and can't figure out why your mood is suddenly down and why you're depressed, and then you have the person sitting next to you who ate a big healthy salad, and they're up and at it like, hi. Energized. It's really, really connected.
It totally is connected. I have such a perfect example of how connected this truly is in my life. When I had the blood illness and my microbiome, my entire body, my blood system was filled with bad bacteria. The black mold had overtaken my body and brought all these friends with it. And it was a party from hell, basically, in my body.
Oh, gosh.
And what was going on, it was showing up on the outside. You could see it on my skin. You could see it in my body, outside of my body, because I looked like death warmed over. But it was also affecting my mind. And I was at a place back then where I could not even be around light. Like when it got really, when I was really in the throes of it, I had to be in a dark room. I could not look at a lot of light. I couldn't be outside. My windows were closed, and I definitely, I didn't even want to look at certain things. Like, things bothered me. A lot of things disturbed me, and just looked,
right. I remember you telling me that
certain patterns just looked creepy to me. Like everything was just ugly. And if that's not a perfect indication that the gut is affecting the brain, nothing is, because my gut was out of order. When I had that dark field microscopy test done and my blood was analyzed, you could see all of the bad bacteria. In fact, the woman who did that test for me, she's a dark field microscopy specialist. She asked me, were you eating, Carmen, were you eating a lot of like raw sushi or something? I'm like, no. She was like, yes, it looks like you have microorganisms that would come from raw meat or something.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's disgusting. That is so gross.
She said it. I didn't.
That was so gross. And it was grossing me out from the inside. Like, my mind was grossed out.
I can imagine. I can imagine that it was.
So, yes, I totally agree. And then you're talking about people who have mental illness, from depression, like you said, to something as serious as schizophrenia. The diet has a lot to do with healing the mind. So the detox is so important.
I agree.
Spirit, soul, and body.
I agree.
Definitely. So so the next thing is it reduces inflammation. A lot of people have inflammation and they don't equate the inflammation with having an unhealthy gut. I never did before. When I fell and broke my 2 wrist bones, this side of my body, like the chi, the energy was off. Like, it just never really balanced. This side was never flowing right. The energy wasn't flowing. So my knee I would have inflammation on my knee. Okay. On this side. But even then, I didn't think at that time, that the diet was affecting the inflammation. I was just thinking about the energy. But it's so interesting how we're connected in so many ways. Like, everything affects us.
Yes, it
everything. Does. So it's not just the energy. It's also the diet. It's also the mind. It's also your spirit. It's all connected. And that's why at Sharing the Bliss, we like to put all those pieces together, help a woman to connect all of the dots. Because if you don't, you're going to be missing out on something. And it's like the word says, give no place to the devil, basically. So inflammation, healthy gut, oh my goodness, like that is a big thing. Because so many people do have inflammation issues.
And they contribute to a lot of health issues. That's what it contributes to.
Yes, that's true. That is so true. Wow.
Alrighty.
What's next, Coach Shanice?
Weight management. I'm sure everyone's going to love this one.
Whoop, whoop.
A diverse and balanced gut microbiome is linked to a healthier metabolism, aiding in weight regulation and potentially reducing the risk of obesity.
Yes.
Alrighty, so this is a good one. We know that during the detox, weight loss is a given. It's a given, right? But we don't literally focus on that. But we notice that a lot of people who do the detox are focused on it. But that's the one thing that we know is going to happen, is going to be weight loss.
And if we break down why that is the case, I think we mentioned this in one of the other episodes. But remember, we talk about how the bad bacteria is being fed by sugar, starches. It loves that. It just feeds off of it because it loves it. So if you want to kill off the bad bacteria and have a healthier gut, then you would need to stop with the refined sugars and start eating a healthier sweets which we're really big on, giving you so many alternatives for delicious desserts and sweet treats that's not going to feed the bad boys. That's what's so wonderful. When you are detoxing in a way where you are giving up those things that are feeding the bad bacteria is going to leave, and because they're not being fed. So you're going to have the health benefit there, but you're automatically going to get the weight loss because you're not eating the food that's causing you to gain weight.
We also talked about the chemicals and what the body does with it. So the body doesn't know what to do with it, so it stores it as fat. And the fat turns into inflammation and disease. That's where
I love the way you said that.
The cycle, right? Because when you think about it, if it doesn't know what to do with it, it's going to store it.
Yeah.
And that's going to turn into something that we definitely do not want.
Yes.
So once you start to detox that, your body, those things are going to come out. Those things, you're going to release those chemicals that are in your body, and that's going to contribute to weight loss. Because now it's not storing it anymore.
And we spoke about that last week, I think it was.
I think so.
But the way you said it this time took it to a whole nother level. Because you said that what it does is it will eventually bring on disease. And we never really discussed that correlation, that not only are you padding your body because your body's protecting you from all those chemicals and stuff, but ultimately, how much can it protect? After a while, disease is going to show its ugly head one way or another.
And all of that. So, because that's what was going on with me with the fibroids, right? Okay, so I'm not eating the way I should have been eating. I didn't know, so I wasn't. And I'm eating salads, but I'm eating inorganic salads, fruits and vegetables. So it's contributing to my fibroid growth.
Yes.
It's contributing to it because I'm storing it. So the fibroids are feeding off of it, and they're growing. And it took me a while to make that connection, but I did. Feeding on it.
And how many women have fibroid issues, whether it's breast, whether it's in the female organs or wherever. You know, I used to have fibroids in my breast. And where did you have fibroids?
They were everywhere. Let's just say they were everywhere. They were definitely in my uterus, outside my uterus.
Really?
Yes, they were. I think I had 3 different types of fibroids. I can't remember what they called them all, but they were sitting inside my uterus and outside my uterus.
Wow.
Yeah, they were definitely doing damage. One was leaning up against one of my fallopian tubes and literally bent the thing, and it was pretty bad. There was one sitting up here, like right on my stomach, you know, because by the time I figured out how I can actually shrink the fibroids, it was too late, and I had to have the surgery. But if I hadn't known then what I know now, I may not have had to, and I had 2 fibroid surgeries, and the first one they grew back. But because I was told to eat the leafy greens and all of that, and so I was, but they weren't organic.
Yep. Wow, Denise.
Yep.
That is great. That is, what a testimony. And what happened? After the second surgery, you changed your lifestyle.
I have to.
Changed it.
Because here's the deal.
Love it.
After the surgery, I thought I was going to feel terrific on top of the world.
Yes.
I thought I was going to be energized. The fibroids are gone. But guess what? I still wasn't eating correctly. I still hadn't made the connection. I didn't make the real connection until I went into menopause, which was like maybe about a year after I had that surgery, and I went into menopause, and that's when you finally said, Denise, for like maybe the 10th time, Denise, do the detox, Denise. And I had just gotten my certification for Pilates, and I gained all that weight. I can't teach nobody something I don't even look like I do. But I did the detox, and then is when I started to actually feel well. Like I felt like I'm supposed to feel, like no issues, because I was still having the digestive issues and everything. I thought they were all going to disappear after surgery, but they did not.
That's amazing. And you know, like with me, real quick, when I had the fibroids in my breast, they were sore, they would hurt, and they were very uncomfortable. But when I changed my diet, they disappeared. And thank goodness that I did change my way of eating, because I changed my way of eating to heal from the blood illness. But I didn't realize that there was going to be so many other benefits, like not having menopause. We're going, the next series, we're going to be talking about menopause.
Menopause.
Yes.
Ooh-wee.
So that's going to be exciting.
Yes, yes, it will be.
Okay, so the next benefit is that having a healthy microbiome will help you to increase your energy levels. Proper digestion and nutritional absorption from a healthy gut can boost energy levels and overall vitality.
Yes.
So when you hear that, Coach Denise, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about, like, how is a healthy gut connected to having energy? What comes to your mind?
I'm thinking about a digestive system that's working and it's optimal, right? It's optimum, so you're eliminating, which means you're sleeping a lot better. I don't know if anyone ever noticed, but it's very hard to go to sleep when you're bloated. It is not an easy thing to do because your stomach will literally wake you up all night with the bloating. So you're sleeping better. You're having a deeper sleep. That also increases energy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now if you have the energy, that makes you want to be more active,
Yes.
which will give you more energy. So that's how, when I think
When
of
you
that,
think of it,
that's,
that comes
yes,
to
that's what
mind.
comes to my mind.
When I first started putting this together, one of the things I thought about was the fact that you see so many Americans, like, they're so, like, run down. And lots of times, if you have a colon that's not cleaned out, like if you're not eliminating properly, it drags you down.
Yes,
It's like
it
you're
does.
being weighed down. And you really are being weighed down because of your colon not being cleaned out. When your colon is cleaned out, you do have more pep in your step. You have more vitality because you are not carrying stuff that you shouldn't be carrying, especially carrying stuff is garbage. It's not supposed to be in your body.
And we have pounds of that
Crazy.
in our bodies, literally pounds of it
That hasn't been released.
that hasn't been released. Yes.
Yes, that is a scary thing.
Wow.
And we definitely focus on that during the
Yes.
detox, for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, you got a good one.
Okay, enhanced nutrient absorption. A well-functioning gut microbiome helps break down and absorb essential nutrients from food, ensuring the body receives the necessary vitamins and minerals for optimal health. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
I do too.
And so when I read this, I think of when we talk about eating raw. For some reason, raw just comes
yeah.
to me like that,
Yes.
because the raw is the most nutrient dense food you can possibly eat.
Yes.
When I say raw, I don't mean raw meat or sushi.
Raw fruits and
We mean
vegetables.
raw fruits and vegetables.
Grains, and yes.
It's prepared and into delicious meals. Let's say, for instance, you went from cooked, unhealthy food and you went straight into raw vegan. You're more than likely are going to have a bit of a problem. Right? Because the body is not ready to receive that much of nutrient dense food
At one
because
time.
it's too clogged up.
Yes.
And so with the detox, what happens is we start and we gradually make our way to raw vegan. But by the time we get there, the body has already released a lot of those things that weigh pounds that
And
were in our body, the
toxins and
toxins,
microorganisms,
everything is
bad stuff.
is already been, lots of it has already been released by the time we get to raw
Yes.
vegan.
Oh, that's good.
Right?
Go ahead.
So now the
I just
body's
thought of
ready to
something.
receive this raw. And that's what I think of when I see these words, enhanced nutrient
I
absorption.
love that. And what you said something else that just rung a bell in my head. You said, oh, that rhymes.
See how we
I
doing
love that.
here?
That's
See
how we do it. You were saying that, so when you are adding all of the nutrient dense fruits and vegetables and foods in your body, that things start to change, right? And you're absorbing more nutrients. So when you're absorbing more nutrients, you're absorbing it, which means the bad bacteria is not being fed because you're feeding your body what it needs to live. Remember, life begets life. So if you're feeding your body more life, then the bacteria that feeds off of dead stuff, dead food, decay, I hate to say it, but decay, they're not being fed anymore. So they're weakening and becoming more and more disempowered, which means that they will die off.
And leave the body.
Leave the body, which means whatever disease, whatever illnesses, whatever you've been going through, it's going to start to wane because you're releasing the toxins that's feeding the disease and the illness.
This is very exciting.
Hot diggity dang
This is
dang.
so exciting.
Diggity dang dang.
Like, I'm literally feeling my heart speed up. Like, this is so good.
I know. I love it. I love it. Because don't you wish like someone had broken things down for you like this?
I really do.
Especially sister to sister. It's like on a whole nother level.
If you know, remember I was telling you a while back when we used to go to summer camp, and it was a couple of hippies that were our counselors. I loved them because they were teaching us about organic, and we were eating sprouted food and things, but we didn't know. All we know is it was delicious. They don't know what they did to it, but it was so good. They were actually teaching us then.
Wow.
And if I had
followed,
yes, I probably would not have had any of those issues I had with fibroids.
I've had opportunities like that too. You know, I remember the group on Staten Island, and I was like in my teens. Get Smart, Get Saved, right? They were a group of Christians. They were mostly all white young people. And they were the same thing with the super healthy food, the sprouts and the wheat germ and all of that stuff. I used to go to the big house where they lived all together. It's almost like a commune kind of thing, right? But boy, I mean, like you said, if I had adopted and stayed, because I did adopt some of those things, but if I had continued that way, and stayed away from the standard American diet, I know that I would never have gotten as sick as I got.
I believe that because they didn't eat junk food. They told us the perils of junk food. Their words, the perils of junk food. I remember that. And they didn't eat the potato chips and the ring-dings and the yodels and the Twinkies. They didn't eat any of that.
Amazing.
They didn't eat it.
Wow. So yes, absorption. Very important. That's going to save you money too, because if you clean out your body and you're able to receive the nutrients that you are paying for when you buy your food, then you're getting more bang for your buck.
Amen.
You know, so I love that benefit as well.
So do I.
So let's talk about the skin. Ooh,
yes.
Lord, yes. So gut health is correlated with skin health, as imbalances in the microbiome can contribute to skin conditions such as acne, eczema, and psoriasis. And I'm living proof of this.
Yep.
Yes. When you were in high school or college or whatever, did you get breakouts?
Constantly.
Really?
Constantly.
I
was breaking out pretty much all the way up until I had that fibroid surgery.
Wow.
I was always breaking out in these painful cysts, pimples on my skin.
I did not know
on my face. Yeah, they would just be all over my face. Now the rest of my body, no, I didn't break out like that.
Yeah.
But but the sheen of my body was dull. Like I can scrub and put as much lotion on as I wanted, as much oil on as I want to, but it had a dull sheen to it.
Interesting.
That's what it had.
That's another good point. Yes, glowing like we were talking about before, glowing from head to toe.
Well, we're glowing from head to toe
glowing
now.
From head to toe. Yes. But, you know, same thing with me. When I was in high school, I had cystic acne. In fact, I had it all the way up into my 20s. Oh, yeah, probably 30s. Yes, definitely 30s. When I changed my diet in my 40s, that's when I did not get any more pimples on my face. And in fact, you know how it is when you get a pimple, you're like, you start thinking, what did I do to get this pimple?
Yes.
Whereas before, I didn't even think about what did I do to get that pimple. I just had pimples, you know. But now, if I get a little pimple here or there, you know, just a little something, I'm like, what did I eat? And then I backtrack. I'm like, oh, I had that whatever, or I had that that little piece of Anthony's cake or whatever, and it just showed
And
up
it
just
shows
like
up
that.
quickly.
That's amazing.
Quickly.
How it can show up.
Yeah.
Cystic acne has so much to do with your diet. And if you or your children and anyone you know and love have cystic acne, it can be dealt with through cleaning out the gut, because I was on different medications, and they used to give the high school students when, I went to the high school of music and art. Whoop, whoop. And, we were so grown there, forget about it. But my friends, they used to, because we all had acne, but my friends used to go to the dermatologist, and they would give them birth control pills for their acne.
Right.
And I was like, what?
I remember that.
I could not wrap my mind around it. I was like, no, I'm not going to take birth control pills for that. Because it led you to, different things that you may not have been considering before, So, but a lot of those friends, they ended up with fibroids and different issues.
I was going to say, if they were taking them like that, and not even for birth control reasons, but just to control acne, that's kind of off.
So young. That's terrible.
So young. That's kind of off to me. I mean, I remember when my doctor had suggested it, but my mother said no. My mother said no. No birth control for her. Okay, so that was the end of that. But mainly my acne was contributed to the food. My mother would tell me the same thing over and over. Stop eating those Twinkies. They were my favorites. You need to leave those Twinkies alone. They're sugary, they're greasy. You eat a lot of these potato chips, all these candy bars and all this candy. You need to leave that stuff alone. And she was right, because when I did stop eating it, my skin did clear up, but it left me with all of the dark spots all over my face. And then I had clear skin for a little while, for a couple of years, it stayed clear. And then when I started having problems with the fibroids, then it started to break out again.
Okay, yeah.
And it got really bad.
Yeah. And that was, with the imbalances of the hormones being out of balance.
Right. Which
what have
we're going to be talking about next.
Yes, that's
Nice
right.
little segue in there.
Exactly. So the eczema and the psoriasis, oh my gosh, had I known when I was young, I was born with eczema, and it was a mess. So no one ever told me. The doctors, the dermatologist, I lived, as I was growing up as a child, my mother was still alive, so that was a long time ago. I was going to the dermatologist as a child, and no one had ever told my mother that I have to be on a certain diet. And
I'm guessing, did they know? Did they actually know that?
Well, it's the same as today. They're not going to tell you that because they're not taught that in medical school. They're not taught about how the diet how the benefits of a diet when it comes to health issues. So that's just over here, just pushing that aside. Let's get to what we can see.
Right.
And let's throw some medicine at it.
Which is how they were trained. That's what they do. They diagnose and treat. That's it.
Absolutely. Talking about hormones.
Regulation of hormones. Okay. The gut microbiome plays a role in hormone metabolism and regulation, influencing processes such as appetite control, reproductive health, and stress response. I had no menopausal issues after healing my gut. I could say that same sentence.
Yep. I had to throw that in there.
Yeah, but I could say the same thing. I really had, when I completed the detox, remember I told you when I went to the doctor, because when I went into menopause, I started having heart palpitations. So when I went to the doctor, he had to put me on medication to control those fluctuations because of the hormone surges that I was getting. And not long after that, remember, I did my first detox. And he told me, if you come to me and tell me that these things stopped, that these palpitations are over, I will wean you off of this medication. And I would say about 3-4 weeks after I did that very first detox, those fluctuations and surges, they completely stopped. Not only that, I wasn't even getting hot flashes anymore. I was getting hot flashes, and those stopped. And I went to him and told him, listen, I'm not getting heart palpitations anymore. I don't have hot flashes anymore. I'm feeling much better. And true to his word, he weaned me off of that medication. Weaned me right off of it.
What a blessing.
Yep. Took him 6 weeks to get me off of it, but he weaned me off of that medication. And I know it's because when I'm going to use what we're talking about. When I healed my gut biome, those hot flashes ended and the heart palpitations ended. I lost that weight. I had gained about 30 pounds, if you remember.
Wow,
30 pounds, and I blew up. All of that weight left me, and the digestive issues were gone. So I am in total agreement with this as far as the regulation of hormones. It has a lot to do with the gut microbiome.
Yes, yes. I love it. And then we'll talk about how having a healthy gut protects against disease. Now, it may sound redundant, but this is important to focus on as well, because maintaining gut health will lower the risk of various diseases, including gastrointestinal issues and disorders, autoimmune conditions, cardiovascular, we just talked about that. Just said that. Disease and certain cancers. Whoa.
That's really amazing. That's deep. I mean, that just reading that alone would have me. How do I get my gut microbiome healthy?
Yeah. What do I got to do?
What I got to do?
Wait, when do I sign up for the detox?
What do I need to do? Please tell me.
Oh my goodness! And especially if you have a family history of any of these issues, I would be jumping on this like nobody's business.
Exactly.
Because if something is going to prevent, we want to be on that like the green hornet. Because that, just to prevent, especially today, we don't want to have to go down the medical matrix rabbit hole if we don't have to.
Not if we don't have to.
Oh my goodness. Last but not least, is that me or you?
Okay, that's me, I believe. Yes. Fights off and can eliminate candida, yeast infections, and mold. This should have been you. Chronic candida, yeast, urinary tract infections all start and end in the gut. If mold comes to the party, you have a real issue. You have a real issue. Now, both of us had issues with mold, but I believe that yours kind of like trumped over what I went through. But mold is not a joke.
No.
And once you start breathing in those mold spores and they go through your body, it can cause all kinds of things. Heart palpitation, like literally you can hear your heart roaring in your ears, because that's what I had. And I thought I was having a heart attack. And it gave my husband one seizure after another.
You had to take me to the emergency room.
I took her to the emergency room.
I couldn't breathe.
She could not breathe. I remember that too.
I had to go to the hospital.
Yes.
Yes.
And that was related to mold. Mold alone. So we're not even talking about the other things, just the mold alone.
But really quick, if I can jump in and talk about the yeast infections and the candida.
Yes.
My God. I mean, women, sisters, if you are suffering with those discomforts, change your diet. Don't keep going back to the pharmacy and getting these over-the-counter drugs, over-the-counter options, because it's not even about that. What it does is it will treat the symptom but not the disease, and the symptoms will come back again and again and again,
and not the root cause either.
And not the root cause. You know, thank God we have suggestions when we go into the Sacred Self-Care guidebook that we have for Heal Whole Body and Soul program.
Yes.
And we talk about making suppositories with bentonite clay and garlic that you can create and insert, that's going to really make a difference. But we always talk about the cleansing, the internal cleansing through detoxing as well, because again, you can't do that without doing this.
Right.
You can get with this and you can get with that. But you got to do both if you want to be free. Amen.
Amen.
So yes, that's the situation. Those treatments are not designed to cure you of those things. For me, it was using the tampons all those years. It's not comfortable. And they have so many of these sprays and all. I'm telling you, do the detox.
Those sprays are the absolute worst things you can possibly use because they upset the pH balance. My own gynecologist told me that the only thing I needed to use is water, and that's it. I didn't need sprays, creams, rubs, anything.
Scrubs.
She said those things contribute more to bacterial infections than you could even imagine because they upset the pH balance.
Yes.
She said all you need to do is use water.
Yes. And if you want to, do an inner cleansing with some apple cider vinegar, the old school red bag.
Old school. Oh, hey.
Right? But now they got some cute ones too. Just that and that with the diet though, because you have to have both to really be free from that candida and mold, because you're feeding the candida and mold with the cheese and the dairy and the meats and the sugar. You keep feeding it and you're trying to get rid of it. You're fighting against yourself. There is so much more that we would love to share with you, but we are running out of time today in this episode. Yes, but to bless you, you go on and scroll down and click the link so that you can download the guidebook that we were reading from. I wrote that for you so that you can have everything you need to get started on a healthy gut microbiome. So in it, you're going to see everything that Coach Denise and I just read. And then further on, you're going to see in the other pages what we're going to be talking about next week. And that is all the things we can do to create a healthy microbiome. Right? So now you know how important it is. So you'll be more motivated to do something about it.
Amen.
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 Like joining the next 28-day Body and Soul Detox. And you can go to sharingthebliss.com/detox to do so. You can reach Coach Denise or Coach Carmen, that's me, on Facebook. You can leave us a message there. And there's ways for you to connect with us. Okay? All right. So we love you and we can't wait to see you next week.
Yes.
All right, my sisters?
Okay.
All right. So just make sure that you join us on the business page because we got some great things going on over there. We have Wellness Kitchen Wednesday. I'm in the kitchen making some yummy food. And then we have Sacred Self-Care Saturday where it's all about sacred self-care practices and different formulas and remedies that are natural and awesome.
Yes.
All right? So we love you. See you next week.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. I hope you were blessed by this episode. If so, please be a blessing by liking and subscribing so that we can reach more sisters like you. Be sure to click the link in the show notes to download this episode's juicy free resource. And let's stay connected. Join our Sacred Self-Care Sisterhood Facebook group with daily inspiration for your body and soul, designed to awaken the kingdom heiress you truly are. Like our business page, where you can join me live for weekly food demos, self-care tips, and emotional healing support. Visit the website for a complete list of our programs and support tools. Beloved, life doesn't get better by simply praying. It gets better by receiving the support you need to get what you've been praying for. Set up your complimentary health and wellness support call by simply filling out my health and wellness assessment form and scheduling your call. See all details in the show notes below. And remember, you can soothe your soul, heal your body, and live your bliss in a time like this.